Okay, so far we have seen like how we can create the users and how we can, make them, how we can prevent them to get logged in, what are the different techniques for this, and few more things as we have seen about user management. Now, if you have observed one thing that, see, let's consider that if I would be, if I would be log in as some another user. For example, if I would try to make a login as development user, right? Let's see. If I'd go with this, I would go with this in the same browser. If I go with this, and what is that password? Now, if all right, so if I make a login to some another user and after doing certain operation, if I would make a log out, so what happens in that case, you get logged out from all of the other places as well. So this is something what we are observing from a long time, right? Now, how you can avoid this? I mean, once you have make the logged in, once you make a login, and for example, as an one user, as an administrator, you already logged in, and when you try to make a login with some to some another account, and once you log out from there, you're going to log out from every other place as well. So is there is any way in Salesforce that we could avoid this? So yes, there is a way to do that. So I'm going to teach you how you can prevent to re-log in once again, right? So there is a small setting in the Salesforce for this. You have to follow this navigations. You would require to go to the security controls. In security controls, we would require to go with the session settings, right? So go first of all with the administrator menu. Inside the administrator, you have security controls, right? Just expand this tab first of all. Here you are going to see something called as a session settings. See this one, right? Session settings. Now, in the session settings, you have, I mean, inside the session setting is still there is one section itself called as session settings. Now, as you can see, we are having one checkbox with the name force re-login after login as a user. Sorry, I'm a little bit drowsy today. What you just require to do, deselect this. When you deselect this problem of making login once again would not going to be happen. Would not going to be happen, right? I just deselect a null. I'm saving this. Now it is not going to be happen. All right, I'm going to test it, but let's study one more topic and then we're going to study this. See, okay. See, in the last session, I have shown you like one user, like any one of them could grant his login access to the Salesforce support or to his system administrator. So if you remember it properly, what I did was like I opened another browser. In the another browser, I have logged in with some another user. Maybe it was a development user, if I'm not wrong. So one second, just let me get the creds. Yeah. So I think it was the development user by which I make a login to this browser, and I would be entering the passwords. And for example, we discussed one scenario where, this user would require that his system admin should make a login to his account. So I told you that there is no need to give the credentials, or actually it should not be given. We should never share our creds to anybody. Anyone, even though if he is your system administrator, you should not share your creds to him. But if you would not give him creds, how he is going to make a login into your account? So there is a way to do that. You remember I told you this. Go to this personal and then expand and grant the account login access to your company administrator to the salesforce.com. You're going to see that option how you can remove this. All right. I think this is the right, this is the right time to discuss that as well. So once again, I'm going with security control, and I'm once again going with the session settings. Over here, I think disable login force login there. Just give me a moment. Let me find out that setting. There is a setting for this. Mm. Login access policies. See, in the login access policies, this is one setting. So what I'm see over here, as you can see, support organization salesforce.com available to the users. When this option by default, this radio button is selected. So this support.com from the Salesforce, the support from the Salesforce is available for all of the users. And though it's available for all of the users, you can see that any user could make a contact to salesforce.com support. But if you would select the second option, available to the administrator only, right? If you make it available to the administrators only, and when you save this, see what is going to be happen in that case. I'll just go back and I'll refresh this. Now, the second option, see, the second option has gone. That means if this user or any user, not just this one, any user of this organization, if he wanted to, if he wanted to give the access, the account access of his account, if he wanted to give the account access, then he could only provide this to the company's administrator and not to the salesforce.com, because that option now has been removed. You can see this. All right. So by this, and Salesforce administrator could make a restriction on all of the users. They cannot make a contact to salesforce.com directly. All right. Administrator can do that. And usually in some of the cases, in some of the cases, we do this. In some of the cases, we don't want our users to make a direct contact with the Salesforce due to certain reasons, maybe the internal policy of an organization or whatever it could be, right? So there are so many good valid reasons by which you don't want it that your users could make a direct contact with the Salesforce. So what we can do is you can just remove this permission from the user label, right? You just have to go with this login access policies, and here you'll have to select, okay, contacting to the Salesforce support is only available with the administrators and not with the other users. So right, chalo, that was one part of discussion. Now this user wanted that he should grant the login access to his administrator for one day, and he'll make those changes and save it. So what would happen in that case? See, what is going to be happen? So when I would be accessing as an administrator, I can see that for the development user, there's a login button that comes over here. And I would make a login. I would make a login. Now I am into the development users account. I'll make the changes wherever it is required. And now when I make a logout, all right, when I make a logout, अभी थोड़ा सा ना आप लोग ध्यान से देखेंगे. What was happening previously, when you make a logout, you'll eventually going to log out from all the places. Now it is not going to happen. See, when you make a logout, you come back to your own login. Previously, it was something like when you log out, you actually would be log out from the other windows as well. But this is not happening right now. You come back to your login. You come back to your account. Why? Because you just have in the session settings, you make those changes, right? You force re-login after login as a user. Force re-login as a login as a user. This was a checkbox which we have unchecked. And this is the reason why we are not getting logged out when I make a logout from some other's account. All right? Chalo. So this was something what we have studied. And we do understand that the user, this user or maybe any another user, if he want, he can provide a permission of login to the administrator. And if he wanted to change, he can make it no access and save it. When he would save this user would not get this login, right? So he cannot make a login. All right, this is one thing. Now let me discuss you one important point, a very important point. As an administrator, please listen, every one of you. This is something which is really important to know. And I hope I'm the only person which is feeling drowsy. You guys are fresh enough to understand. See, as a what to say, as a developer, as an administrator, you must be able to make a login to anyone's account. All right, our intentions are good. I mean, if I wanted this privilege that I should log in, I should log in into anyone's account. My intentions are not bad over there. Rather my intentions are like, for example, I'm having a user called Akash with me, and I'm as an administrator, I'm giving him certain rights, certain permission, whatever I'm actually developing, I'm developing for him. Now, if I wanted to test it, I mean, the kind of functionalities, whatever I have developed for the Akash, and when I deployed those changes, I wanted to test it, whether these things are available with him or not. And this is only possible, this is only possible when I could make a login with his account. So I would ask Akash, can you please go to your account? Can you please go to my settings? And can you please allow me your grant? Can you please grant me your account access? Maybe for one day or something, so that I could make a login into your account and I could test that functionality. Well, I can do that as well, but this is not required. I'll show you something. I'll show you something. I'll show you something, guys. Please concentrate. This I'm showing you from the sandbox. What are sandboxes and everything? You're going to learn this in the deployments. I'm going to cover everything, but maybe क्योंकि काफी मर्तबा हमने इस चीजों को सामने लाया, तो मे बी हो सकता है कि शायद आपको पता हो. See, I clicked on the user option over here. Okay, this is my sandbox. Do you found anything over here? Interesting part. All of these are the users. Okay, there are so many users in this organization. There are so many users, right? Let me show you how many users are there. Let me show you. There are 1,402 users, right? There are 1,402 users. और जैसे कि अभी, as you can see over here, in the name, in front of everyone name, there's a login. There's a login. This option appears over here, and I could make a login to anybody's account. For example, if I wanted, if I wanted to get logged in into the Tony's account, so I just would require to make a click over here, and I can make a login to Tony's account. Right, I can do certain changes, whatever I wanted. If I wanted to test anything what I have developed for him, I could do it. And when I make and log out, I'm going to come back to my account. See, the way I am giving you the training is exactly the way I used to work. There is no difference into that. I have not logged out from this place or any another. Rather, I just landed back to my account, right? What do you see? What do you feel? What do you think? Did I ask all of this 1,402 users that please grant me your account access? Please give me. क्या लगता है आपको? क्या मैंने सबसे रिक्वेस्ट करके ये मांगा हुआ है साल भर के लिए? Did you think मैंने सारे यूजर्स को बोल रखा कि यार तुम लोग ना साल भर के लिए मेरे को अपने अकाउंट का एक्सेस दे के रखो, और ये लोग इतने पागल हैं कि इन्होंने मेरे को दे भी रखा है? क्या लगता है, ऐसा है? नहीं, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. They would never know कि I have a facility. I could make a login to there, and I could do whatever I wanted to do over there. This is the most important thing, and people usually do not take this into the trainings. No one usually taught this. But there is something in the Salesforce by which an administrator could make a login into anyone's account, and he certainly wouldn't require anybody's permission for this. I would not ask any of my user to give me. If he want, due to certain reasons, he can give me. But actually, I don't have any dependency on any user to grant me the account, his account login access. As an administrator, I know one setting in Salesforce by which I could enable that I could make a login to anyone's account. And I would certainly not ask this for anybody, even though I would not tell them, right? So yeah, this is something which is really, really important to know. So how you make this? How you make this? So that is something, what I'm telling you is login access policies. अभी वही जगह जहां से मैंने salesforce.com support को disable किया. On the same page, you just require to go with security control and login access policies. In the same page, there is a checkbox called administrator can log in as any user. Just enable that. See, previously this looks like to be like this, right? And after enabling that administrator can make a login to anyone's account, and when you save it, right? And I'll come back and I'll refresh this page, see what happens. I can make a login to anyone's account except chatter user, right? Chatter user doesn't fall into this because he's an external user. Remember, I told you there are two categories of users, internal and external. Any community license holder, any chatter license holder, that user is considered to be an external user. You cannot make a login to their account because they are external, right? But I can make a login to any internal user, though it's a customer development manager or anybody who is holding a Salesforce license, a platform license, identity licenses. These are few of the licenses which make a user to be called as an internal user. ये तो हमारा भाई है, हमारे घर का सदस्य है. So you can make a login to anybody who is an internal user, not an external. So enabling this option, login access policies, and enabling this checkbox would make an administrator, would give this facility. Now you can make a login to anyone's account. And you won't believe I'm telling you this very honestly. I never do this. वो बड़ाई ये सब नहीं करता मैं. This was something, which was not known to Nitec, guys of the Nitec. They don't know this. So I was building up a functionality. मतलब when I recently joined them, पिछले साल की बात है, ज्यादा वक्त नहीं हुआ. तो आई मीन जब मैं अभी भी सिनॉप्टिक के साथ हूँ, मैं कंटिन्यूइंग फॉर देम फॉर 3 more months, जब तक मे बी माई कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वुड बी एक्सटेंड. वो डिपेंड करता है नाइडेक अगर मतलब क्या हुआ है. टेल यू वन थिंग. मैंने सिनॉप्टिक रिजाइन किया. सिनॉप्टिक इज माई ऑर्गेनाइजेशन अहमदाबाद में. मैंने रिजाइन किया उनको लास्ट ईयर इन द मंथ ऑफ अक्टूबर. सो वो एकदम हलचल मच गई बिकॉज आई वॉज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट रिसोर्स टू देम. बट दे ट्राई टू. और अभी मैं I'm with Royal Cyber. So Royal Cyber is actually a Canadian organization, but they're having the business in Canada mostly, and then in US and few Middle East countries as well, like Bahrain and Dubai. And in India, they are having offices in Noida and in Chennai and in Bangalore. So I joined them in Bangalore, but I have taken work from home. So what happened, like, I mean, they tried to convince me for so many things, but I said to them, no, I wanted to continue with this organization. So in that case, what happens is like, once you make a resignation, because I was working on NADEC, so they have to inform this to client that उसने resign किया है. So NIDEC requested him that, see, we are very much comfortable with this guy. And our whole business, I mean, everyone in the team is comfortable with Qasim, and they I mean, when they discussed, they when they internally discussed that, yeah, this guy is actually resigned. So now they forced the synoptic that मतलब please continue him at least जब तक हमारा आपके साथ contract चल रहा है. So my manager has and everyone HR manager, and they requested me कि तुम जब तक इस project पे हो तो continue करो. I said to them, no, I'm not going to continue my probation with with Synoptic, but I'll give you this support for NITEC till the time you have NITEC. Now, what is happening? I'm telling you, see, once why I'm telling you this, so that you should develop that confidence about this technology. कहीं पर भी तुमको किसी भी तरह का डाउट है, कोई आलतू फालतू आदमी आके तुमको बोलता है कि रिसेशन चल रहा है, गूगल से लोग निकाले जा रहे हैं, अमेजोन से लोग निकाले जा रहे हैं, फेसबुक से लोग निकाले जा रहे हैं, वगैरह वगैरह वगैरह, एंड यू स्टार्ट, अरे यार अब मेरी तो करियर की बैंड बजने वाली है ना. सो जो मीडिया जो सीन बनाती है ना, दैट इज नॉट इज इन रियलिटी. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आईटी एक ऐसा प्रोफेशन है जहाँ पे कम से कम 250 से 300 टेक्नोलॉजीज हैं. ठीक है. और एक साथ तुम भी सोचो, एक साथ कभी भी सारी टेक्नोलॉजीज पे रिसेशन नहीं आता. हम ये नहीं देखते, हम क्या देखते हैं, व्हाट वी फील, अरे रिसेशन आ गया, अरे लोगों को जॉब से निकाला जा रहा है. एंड इन इंडिया इट बिकम्स एन हॉट टॉपिक. हमारे खानदान में हमारे दादाओं परदादाओं ने एक आदत डाल रखी थी विच इज इन आर डीएनए. हम आज वो नहीं करते, बट दैट इज समथिंग इन आर डीएनए. क्या पता है क्या? वो दे यूज टू सिट अराउंड. वो एक गांव में एक पेड़ हुआ करता था, एंड एवरीबडी इन द इवनिंग व्हेन दे कम बैक फ्रॉम द फील्ड, जब वो खेतों से आया करते थे ना, दे यूज टू सिट ओवर देयर. वहां बैठते थे सारे गांव के बुड्ढे लोग, एंड दे स्टार्ट डिस्कशन ऑफ जो भी आलतू फालतू, इसका उसका बुरा ही अमका ढमका सब. सो दैट इज समथिंग विच इज ट्रांसफर्ड इनटू आवर डीएनए. आज में भी अपने पास में खेत नहीं है, हम गांव में नहीं है, बट वो चैंटिंग करना जो है ना, इट्स स्टिल इन आवर डीएनए. सो दैट इज द रीजन हम विदाउट किसी रिसर्च के, यू नो हम पूरा आधा घंटा बोलने की महारत रखते हैं. सो इट इज नॉट लाइक दैट, अंडरस्टैंड फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल. So may I signed one contract with Synoptic, my previous organization, that I will work for you till the time you have NITEC. तो देखो, if you have that caliber in you, if you have that knowledge, and especially if you are good in communication, right? You can get the faith of your organization, faith of your clients. So somebody who is really skilled, there is no recession for him. Understand? जो हकीकत में अपने आप को उस लायक बना लेता है ना, वो जिंदगी में कभी आईटी में भूखा नहीं रह सकता. देयर इज नो रिसेशन फॉर हिम. उल्टा ये हो सकता है कि you would be simultaneously working for two separate organizations. That could be possible. And that is what is happening right now with me. So 2 to 11, दोपहर में 2 से रात के 11, I worked for RC. And in the meantime, after your batch and what, I worked for Synoptic as well. So this is what is happening right now. But anyways, चलो छोड़ो, ये सब अलग बात है. So this was not known to NIDAC, and I just recently joined them, and I developed one functionality for somebody, and then I just enable. जैसे आपने देखा कि मैंने सैंडबॉक्स बनाया अपना और मैंने वो फंक्शनैलिटी बना के वहाँ वो I just enable this administrator can make a login. उसके बाद में मैंने उस यूजर के इसमें लॉगिन किया and I tested it over there. I found it was working good. Then I replied to them कि मैं मतलब this has been developed and I have performed that unit testing and it's working with the user. तो फिर वो लोग मुझसे क्वेश्चन करने लगे कि आई मीन हाउ यू हैड परफॉर्म दैट टेस्टिंग, तुमने वो यूजर से कांटेक्ट किया क्या और तुमने उसको बोला क्या टेस्ट करने, मैंने कहा आई सेड नो दिस नॉट नीडेड फॉर दिस, देन हाउ यू हैव परफॉर्म की, देन हाउ यू आर श्योर कि आई मीन कि उसको वो फंक्शनैलिटी रन कर रहा है. आई सेड आई कैन शो यू टेस्ट. तो मैंने सी जैसे अभी लॉगिन किया था, जस्ट ना CS पे लॉगिन किया था और फिर मैंने देखा उनको कि दिस इज द वे आई परफॉर्म दिस. तो I make a login into his account and then I tested it. It was working good. So they were surprised to know like how you can log into this account. I said, this is what the Salesforce provide you. I mean, ये Salesforce में है ये. So they were amazed to know this कि अरे ऐसा भी कुछ होता है क्या. तो फिर जो मेरे साथ जो एडमिन जो एक दो लोग और थे, I give them this training कि how being an administrator you got this privilege in the Salesforce that you could make a login to anyone's account. So if you wanted to test before, उससे पहले सोचो आप क्या करते थे वो लोग, they develop something and they would ask the user to test it. हाँ, हम अभी भी वो करता हूँ मैं. I mean, because that is not exactly for the testing purpose. I keep this as an acknowledgement. Okay, from my end, I have tested, it's working good. Now please do this validation at your end. So that is just an acknowledgement. I wanted to inform you, buddy, that I have developed whatever you required. But at my end, I already have tested. So this is, this is the why you would enable this. तो मैंने शुरुआत में कहा कि our intentions are not wrong. Rather, our intention, जो हमारा intentions है, that is more constructive. We develop something, we wanted to test it. And that is the reason we should have. I mean, every time I cannot ask the user, please give this permission to me so that I could have an access in your account and I would test this. And this should not be, we don't have any dependencies on the user. Users are those who have created. We have created. मतलब अपनी इंडिया में बोलते ना इसको बाप को आंख दिखा रहा है क्या बे. मतलब if your child would give some knowledge to the father, तो वो that hurts directly to our ego. अपन बोलेंगे यार तेरे को तो मैं नहीं बनाया development user, right? I was the one who created you, and now you are giving me the access. मतलब मैं तुम्हारे रूम में आ सकता कि नहीं आ सकता, नहीं यूएस में परमिशन लेनी पड़ती है ऑफ कोर्स, पेरेंट्स डायरेक्टली कैन नॉट इंटरफेयर इन द प्राइवेसी ऑफ चाइल्ड. अपने यहाँ थोड़ी ना होता है ये सब. पहली बात तो कमरे ही नहीं होते बच्चों के अलग से. क्या छोड़िए. So anyways, you don't require to seek the permission of for the user to give the access to their account. Yeah, you can directly access them. So this is that constructive reason for which you should learn how you can make a login to their account. Just there is a small thing over there, right? But a very interesting thing. All right. Let me quickly try to remote site setting. I'm going to take this into the integrations. All right. So we'll skip this word right now, but I know where this thing is important, and moreover, you would, if you would learn this right now, because we don't implement, you can probably forgot this. Now in the integration, it's really important, especially in the OAuth authentication process. So this is something is, entire integration goes around and around this. So this would be something we're going to discuss later on. Now let me try to quickly finish these two things. Set up audit trails and login history. These two are the tracking mechanism in Salesforce by which an administrator could track few of the things. Out of this, login history is more informative. right? Audit trails would give only few information like who logged in, when he logged in, and when he logged out. Let me show you this. So if I would go to, like, the security controls, and then I would go to the login. What was that? View. Oh, there's a direct link for that. View setup audit trail. Yeah, this one. So see, if you go with the audit trails, what you can see, you can obviously download this. I mean, there might be certain option for this. Yeah, this one. Oh, let me download this. So it would going to download a CSV file. And 1 second, let me try to formatize this a little bit so that, see, and then make this as an all border, and I'll bold out this. I'll make them center aligned. Yeah, now this seems to be a little good. Anyways, see, so it would show you what does this means by the audit trails. Audit trail just would show you like which user has logged in. And when he logged in, what was the time and the date? For example, this user, training batch 208, has make a login on 29th of January. Why 29? Because this is a US time at 6:26 p.m. PST, Pacific Standard Time, right? This is what the Salesforce would follow. Then 29, it would show you everything, it would show you everything. This user has make a login. Chatter user on 24th of January, he make a login. Now, when he make the login, okay, what action he has performed? See, change administrator can log. See, this is what action he has performed. That you can see. Right? That you can see. And few more informations. But audit trails typically would give you only few things. Who logged in and when he logged in. That's it. And what type of action he has performed. This is what does it means by an audit trails, right? But if I really wanted to track the activities, I'll not go with this. As an administrator, if I wanted to track the activities, I'll go with, login histories. I'll go with the login histories. I'll download that, not audit trail. So I go with the manage users and I'll go to the login histories. And this login history, I will download. Now see the informations over here with this. When you download this, let me do the necessary formatting to make it more readable and everything. Let's do a little formatting over here. And I'll make this to look like this. And this, yeah, this. Chalo. Now see this kind of information. Who was the user? When he logged in. And login, what you're seeing, what you are seeing is according to the Pacific Daylight Time, right? Then what was the IP address? This is the most important thing. What was the IP address? How does he make a login? Application means login.salesforce.com. Okay. What was the status? Whether he was logged in successfully or login was failed. Okay. What type of browser he used for a login? Firefox or Chrome? वो भी आता है. What operating system he is using? Windows 10. What was that application? Firefox. It's in browser. Chrome is what? It's in browser. Which login he used? He used login.salesforce. He used this URL. Okay. And there are so many other informations, like what was the country code? From which country? From which state? So it is showing Pune because maybe that's because of my internet service provider, my ISP, Airtel, that belongs to Pune. And so it's taking that information, postal code, latitude, longitude, and everything. So, yesterday, in the in the last session, I discussed you one thing. If you ever wanted to take the job support, don't give your credentials to anyone. There is a way to do that. I'll be teaching you that as well. Don't worry. But if you give your creds to somebody, as an administrator, I could easily track this. You know why? IP addresses is going to be get changed. This becomes a questionable quantity. Why? Because this is 106, I can understand. It's if it is 106, I can understand. Okay. But when it becomes 223, 182, there is like, this becomes a questionable quantity. Why you logged in with two separate IPs? All right. And everything is tracked, even your this one and this one. So हाँ यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा हम नागपुर में पुणे में तो ठीक है ना. I can understand कि हम बोल सकते हैं we can give the answer. We can give the answer that I was sitting into my friend's place. From there I was working. I use Airtel, he used Geo. So there are two separate internet service provider. That could be a reason for this. All right. So we can give a justified answer, but things are getting tracked. Understand? Salesforce is tracking everything. And if a system administrator want, he could see this activity and he could put this into a suspicious, see, like this. You are getting logged in from Pune and then Bangalore and then Chennai. Why? Why? So this could create a, they could mark this as a suspicious activity. This is something what I feel is not good. So this is what, why. This is why you should never share your cache to somebody, because the things are getting tracked in Salesforce, right? So if an administrator want, he could track. But usually we ignore this. But if it's a security project, it's a financial project, that time, तब तो VDI use करते हैं, तब तो इतना होता ही नहीं है. But what the technique what I'm showing you, वो अगर VDI पे भी काम करोगे आप तो भी applicable है. ठीक है, बताऊंगा मैं कभी. But never give your cache to anybody because that could be get tracked, right? This is the proof of this, that if an administrator want, he could track your activities by login history. ठीक है, चलो. So in the next lecture, by tomorrow morning, I'm going to start with another concept, that is role hierarchy, right? That's all for today. Let me give you this command. And now you can unmute yourself if you wanted to ask anything. Yeah, go ahead. Any questions? Any questions, guys?
सर,
Yes, Ruchira.
अप्रूवल प्रोसेस जो आपने बताया था उसका ऑटोमेशन आपने प्रोसेस बिल्डर से किया था. अपन वर्क फ्लो से नहीं कर सकते ना उसको?
Nahin, in the workflow, you have only 4 options. You can send an email, you can update a field, you can send the outbound messages, right? Or you can assign a task. These are the only 4 operations you can achieve. You can do this with flows if you want.
फ्लोज?
Yeah, lightning flow.
ओके. ऑटोमेशन के लिए सिर्फ ये दो ऑप्शन है ना सर? प्रोसेस बिल्डर एंड फ्लो.
Process builders and flows. Yes. Any questions? All right, then. Thank you so much for joining. Have a great day.